still think yesterday really what this whole thing was about was legitimately about David Stearns. That's what I believe. I believe this was like, this guy's contract is up at the end of 2023. He's 38 years old. He's from Manhattan. He went to Harvard. He's been throughout baseball. He actually started with the Mets in their Arizona Fall League, I think. So he's been very familiar with the Mets. He knows what's going on. That's the target. I believe that the Milwaukee owner is probably not one of those owners that is all that much into Steve Cohen, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Probably not very happy about the spending and everything else. And I do believe that yesterday, if David Stearns is here with this team, which I believe he probably is because he's from here, he heard loud and clear across the bow that, you know, this job is open for somebody to come here and take it. How about the other thing he did say? That I couldn't believe how hard it was to get somebody to come to New York and come here and work, like for the Mets. You know, he basically was, again, you know, shooting down the opportunity, or not shooting down the opportunity, but basically taking another shot at the Wilpons, saying that this was a terrible place to work. Nobody wanted to come and work here.
No. I did not take it that way.
I did.
Why? Because the Wilpons weren't there anymore. So why would it matter if they took the job if the Wilpons were gone? It was new ownership. The way I took that was, all right, now you got a big bad owner coming in who could be impetuous and could not want to mess around. You don't know anything about him. All you know is that he's this crazy hedge fund guy that was in the shadows and bought a bunch of art. So I need to see what type of guy this is before I take that job. And oh, by the way, you know, being the general manager for the New York Mets it seems like something that's going to age you. I mean, if I have a nice, comfortable job and I'm okay with where I'm at, I'll wait for a different opportunity as opposed to going over there. Let me see how the Steve Cohen regime is. I mean, I don't know. I did not think that he sat up there and basically said that the reason that they were in this situation was because of the Wilpons. I think some of the things
it was hard to hire people to come and take this job.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with the Wilpons because they were gone already.
Which you couldn't believe.
Okay, but what does that have to do with the Wilpons? They were gone.
Well,
I mean, it's one thing if the Wilpons were still the owner and he said no one would come here with the previous ownership to work. He said when he was the owner, it was tough for people to come here, find people to work. Well, there's no connection to the Wilpons in that statement.
Well, I mean, the Wilpons were the previous owners,
but they were gone. So what does it matter?
I'm not going to argue with you.
Well, because you don't have a point. You can't. You can't.
Wow.
No, but seriously, you keep saying the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. He didn't go after the Wilpons. Here's the thing. The Wilpons were horrendous owners. They were terrible. And there's no hiding from that. And he could have torched them and did not yesterday.
We don't have a pitching lab. We don't have this. The farm
Those are facts.
We weren't, developing pitchers. So now,
were they wrong about it? Was he wrong about it?
Let me see. Was Wheeler a pitcher that they developed? Was Jacob deGrom a pitcher?
And what happened with Wheeler?
They got hurt or they let him go.
Who let him go?
Well, the Wilpons did.
Oh, okay. So that's part of it too.
Yeah. Well,
okay. What are you talking about?
To me, he took shots at the Wilpons. He took shots, and same thing for Evan. Evan felt the same way.
So what if what Evan feels? That doesn't mean he's right.
I'm just saying we both felt that way. I'm not saying that you're right either. I mean, you obviously think you're right, but I don't think you're right. I think I heard what I heard, you heard what you heard, and I know what it is. It's a job description perfectly for David Stearns. That's what that was yesterday.
Explain
we need
to me how
baseball operations director that's going to reformulate what we're doing. We're trying to build a quality organization. And you're right. He did spend money to try to win this year. And you know what? You're also right about, the players not living up to their contracts, which he never really got into, although he did say that, this is on the players. I'm not firing the manager and I'm not firing the GM. So he took shots at the Wilpons, and he also took shots at the players. Yes. And
by the way, this is something I can't let go, because him saying that it was hard for someone to come here and take this job, and that someone saying that you and Evan saying that that's a shot at the Wilpons when the Wilpons were gone doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. It's new ownership. They got all the resources in the world. Steve Cohen has basically said that in order to get good people in here, you have to be patient, which is something that's total. There is no reason why anybody wouldn't take the job because the Wilpons were there and then gone, and Steve Cohen was in and say, I can't go work for that guy because the Wilpons were there before he got there. That doesn't make any sense.
The Mets have a reputation, and basically is what he's alluding to. And, Sandy Alderson came here. Why? because Major League Baseball made him come here to take a job. And then he also said, I was lucky enough because Billy Epro fell in my lap because he was fired from the Angels.
Why did Major League Baseball appoint Sandy Alderson at that point?
Because of the ownership and because of the
Wilpons did such a terrible job. So we can sit here and say it, but if Steve Cohen goes up there and say the facts, then all of a sudden we criticize him for it? I don't understand.